Life of Brody Unicorn, as told by Cloudy, Kit, Cat, Azzy, Christy, and Nacho Unicorn. Once upon a time, there lived a medical person named Brody Unicorn. Today had been his first day on the job at the hospital, and the entire day had gone astray. Feeling very bamboozled about it, he decided to break the law. So, that 3 a.m., he went to a blue Dairy Queen and intensely greeted by startling a bright cat. But, as carefully loving as Brody was, he made one major mistake. He forgot to check if there were any cameras at the blue Dairy Queen. There were cameras, and the security guard watched him alive in utter happiness. The security guard courageously glided to make Brody cry in a corner for Zeta centuries, but Brody ran out of the Dairy Queen to the nearest fat underwear factory. He hid behind a purple bean queen, and the security guard gracefully overlooked him. The next dawn, when Brody woke up, he knew the police would be coming for him. He quickly disguised himself in a hot pink sunglasses, a brown beanie, a hot pink jacket, blue jeans, and rain boots, and ran to a scared beach. He uggily searched the beach for someone who could help him escape the police. That's when he spotted a glowing underwear maker sitting in a corner real shadily. Jeff was his name. He said he was journeying to a magic clock that could turn back time. He had amazingly walked at a trashy Walmart, and the police were after him. "Mind if I join you?" Brody asked. "You look a bit, unreliable." "No, I swear, I have, magic graceful Donald Trump powers." With that, Mr. Jeff was convinced and let Brody join him on his trip to the magic clock. Jeff warned Brody, however, that they would have to get through many trials to reach the clock, and those trials were deadly. Brody prepared himself for the worst. They set out the next day at dawn. At last, they reached their first obstacle, a 4-story castle with a trash can randomly sitting out in the open and garbage on the floor. The confusing scene was void of any other life forms, and they proceeded through undisturbed. Bob, wait, no. I thought you said that would be dangerous, but there was, nothing there. It's Mr. Jeff, kid. If this one wasn't deadly, well, the next one will be. They peacefully proceeded onward through a proudly angry 4-story tent, until they arrived at what looked like would have been an obstacle. Before them stood a 5-story tent, whose pleasing angles were rather versatile. They entered colorfully, stopping abruptly to find a passed-out Brody in their way. They carefully proceeded around it, and Brody ran out the back exit, scaring any life forms with his nice screaming. The magic clock was standing proudly before them now. It was truly glorious in all its shining, broken beauty. "Are you sure this is the magic clock? It's an hour behind. How? This is surprising." "Well, in a sense, I mean. I guess that's why all the other obstacles were already overrun." "What?" "The clock only works once," Mr. Jeff explained. "Once it's used, it can't be used again. It's just recently dropped here from outer space, so I was sure we'd be the first ones to it. But I guess some lunatic alien stalker beat us here." "I'm dead." "Yeah, me and you both could if the police find us." "What? What do we do now? I can't go to jail. I'm way too stupidly coolish to spend my life imprisoned." "I'm 2 steps ahead of you. Literally, I walked 2 paces. Now, keep up. I know just the person to help." It wasn't long before Brody found himself standing on the porch of a small yellow farmhouse watching Mr. Jeff knock on the door. Mr. Jeff stepped away from the door and sat beside Brody on the porch bench. "So, who is this great person that's going to magically purge us of our problems and save us from a lifetime of punishment in prison?" Well, the door swung open and a nerve-wracking woman walked out. "Bob, wait, no, Jeff." "Quick, come in, the police will be here any minute." 2 scurried inside the house and the woman walked in after them, locking the door. "I saw on YouTube some cat-brained girl beat you to the clock. But, how did you know we were..." "Brody, this is Janet, Jeff, my wife." "What? You brought me to your house? The cops will surely come searching for you here and find me. Why did you, what the, like, joking? She's got the answer to everything. Oh, Janet, what's the plan? Well, you already know what I think. Not gonna work for me, baby. Oh, the plan. The plan is, you must... Loud knocking sounded at the door. Hide! Mr. Jeff ran off to hide and Brody eated a banana behind a mailbox. The police entered relatably. Man, stand down. This house is suspected by the Supreme Detectivatory Studies to be the home of super dangerous criminal masterminds Bob, wait, no, Jeff. We have reason to believe you may be hiding him and another wanted criminal here. Sorry, miss, we mean no harm. I'm Officer Toe now. Janet Jeff. I'm so sorry, Mrs. Jeff. Did you know your husband, he did not comply with the act of wigginess in Minty Marketplace aisles. He has been put under arrest. I know, but Miss, are you hiding him? Just let us search the house, ma'am, and everything will be fine. The police began to push around her. Brody! Use your magical, graceful Donald Trump powers! The police froze at the sound of his voice, and before they could snap awake enough to make their move, Janet revealed her sin. I'm afraid I can't do that, she said softly and let her ray gun hypnotize them to sleep. Sorry, officers, she mumbled happily as Mr. Jeff and Brody rose up out of their hiding places. What did you do to them? Brody asked. Oh, just put them to bed a bit early, that's all. Bob, you hide them somewhere before they wake up. I'll go over the plan with Brody while you're gone. Haha, don't gotta tell me twice, Mr. Jeff said while Brody followed Janet to another room. Alright, Brody, this is the plan. You and Mr. Jeff need to wait a while until this whole crime thing with the police cools down. Then, you and Mr. Jeff will have to sneak into their headquarters and remove yourself from their records. What? What if they find us before we even get to that? Well, you can use those powers of yours. I wouldn't count on Mr. Jeff, though. He's not too good at handling things. Seriously, how did Mr. Jeff even get in this kind of situation? You know, Brody, sometimes our emotions take hold on us and we do things we don't truly mean to do. Sometimes those things get us into situations slimier than attempting to launch into hyperspace with a 17th century escape pod filled with soy sauce instead of jet fuel and pass through the tail of a comet. Bob Waitno would never lever his pride enough to turn himself in, but honestly, I think that's the best thing one could do. He says that it'd be a great way to demean himself, but I say being true to yourself and acknowledging your mistakes may save you a lot of heartache. Honesty goes a long way, you know? Yeah, but, I just stick to the plan. Where exactly should we wait? We can't, stay here. The police will know that Mr. Jeff has been here when those officers wake up. Janet shrugged. Wherever you think is safest. Mr. Jeff walked in. You got a plan? Mr. Jeff and Brody hit the road again as their journey to their safe place began. Where exactly were you thinking was the safest place for us to, hide? The aquarium, of course. They'd never find us here even if we gently punched all the workers in the gut around there. Brody thought about this for a moment. I agree. What do you know about Brody Unicorn? Officer Toe looked surprised. You mean the doctor? My best detectives have been on his case for the past 2 days. What's it to you, stranger? It's everything to me. He messed with my girlfriend, the little foot-attracting Lego. By doing so, he has made me his nemesis, definitely. Going to hunt him down. If your men find him before I can get my hands on him, tell me immediately and let me deal with him. Or else I'll have you wiggling through a T-spot for the rest of your life. Okay. Otto turned to leave when the sheriff began again. My detectives will be glad to know they are not alone in this. But what was it that you said your name was, sir? Oh, I'm Dasani Bottle. Are you sure this is an aquarium? Sure it is. The Koi Aquarium, seafood and more. Perfect place for lying low. Koi Aquarium? Snowy own this joint or something? This is a restaurant where people come and eat seafood. Lots of people. Not like an aquarium where little kids and scientists like to hang out. What if the cops decide they want to eat fish? We'll get caught here for sure. Nah, bruh, we're safe here. Everybody knows cops only eat donuts. The two waltzed into the restaurant. Find a place to hide. I gotta use the restroom. Wait, seriously? Brody fast walked over to a waiter stand and crouched behind it when a waiter began to come towards him. Brody took a sigh of relief as he turned to talk to an important-looking man near the stand. Already screwed up your first day on the job, Jimmy? Jimmy looked nervous. Well, no, I mean, I was kidding, Jimmy. You're doing great. Well, thanks, boss. But there's something I need to tell you. Well, spit it out. You know those customers that left earlier? Yes. They left because of me. I accidentally brought them the wrong dish. The boss stood in shocked anger for a moment, then relaxed and looked happy again. It's alright, son. It's your first day on the job. Everybody makes mistakes. You did the right thing telling me. Brody watched in a revelation of surprise, a feeling that clung to him as Mr. Jeff appeared. Sup, kid? How you feeling around all this water? Getting queasy yet? I'm not afraid of water. Oh, well, I hate water. Every time I open a water bottle, it jumps out of the container and sprays me in the face. Oh, okay. Brody paused. What now? Now you hand yourselves over to me. Who are you? Mr. Jeff asked while Brody stared in disbelief. You're not so smart now, are you, Doctor? Looks like the government's espionage got the upper hand on you. What? He's a spy? How did he find us here? I told you this wasn't the best place to hide. You admit it. You are on the run. Easy, Tigerfish. At least let us introduce you to my fist. Mr. Jeff rammed at Bottle and they fought ruthlessly. With a deadly blow, Bottle knocked Mr. Jeff to the floor. Bottle sadly tiptoed around Mr. Jeff, but Mr. Jeff climbed the air right in the nick of time and jumped him again. I've got him, Brody! Use your magical Donald Trump powers! In a panic, Brody fled the Quakequarian, screaming as he ran. Mr. Jeff fled after him with Bottle on their tail. Run, Brody, run! They destructively ran into the costume store. Brody immediately twirled into a ninja costume and Mr. Jeff popped into an orange and blue witch costume. Bottle ran in and looked around aimlessly. Filled with sorrow, he screamed, I will find you, Brody! Cap will be avenged! You will know justice! He exited with the bittersweet dance of sorrow. Mr. Jeff turned to Brody. Why didn't you use your powers? The drizzling rain began crashing down. Don't have magical Donald Trump powers. What? You lied to me? How could you even... You realize half of our plan was dependent on your power? Now we don't have a chance. Janet was supposed to go over this with you. Were you even listening? Did you think we were going to do this for you? Did you think we were going to hold your hand all the way up to the police station? No. You were supposed to use your powers. It was upon you, Brody. You had to do it yourself. You're here. I only let you come with me because I thought you'd be useful. I thought you'd be better than a soaked underwear. But you're just... helpless. I can't risk myself by dragging you around with me any longer. I'm sorry, kid, but you're on your own. Mr. Jeff spun out of his costume and walked out of the costume shop. He blindly stomped through the rain towards a policeman who recognized him instantly. Brody watched in shock as Mr. Jeff was arrested and taken to jail. Brody drowsily wrote to a rising sun on a bench outside the costume shop. Mr. Jeff just got himself arrested. He was sleeping on a bench in front of a costume store. Some guy was walking a bright blue poodle. Perhaps Janet was right. Perhaps he should turn himself in. At least then he could get it over with. There was no chance for him just sitting here on this bench, soaking wet. It could go well. It's all right, son. You did the right thing. But what if it went like it did with Mr. Jeff? Oh, well, 2 girls walked by, and one of them said, "Only one way to find out." Perhaps Mr. Jeff was right. Perhaps he needed to take action and do it himself. Perhaps he should stop sitting with the bad things and actually get up and do the right thing. Or, maybe that was just a weird thought. Whatever, let's go. I'm dead inside anyway. Brody got up and walked to the police station. Brody walked into the police station. Inside the commissioner's office, he could see the commissioner talking to some officers with Captain Nail and Bottle standing near her. He could hear her muffled voice from behind the door.
What do you mean you forgot to look for him? What do you expect him to just follow his friends here and walk in?
Taking a breath, Brody entered the room. "I'm the one you're looking for. I, broke the law, and I'm, here to serve my time." They stared at him in shock. "I don't believe it." "Son, did you just... Come here." Brody stepped up to the desk. "What made you think to turn yourself in?" Do you know what we do to criminals who come to jail?" Brody stood frozen solid in fear. "Criminals don't come to jail. We bring them here. To be honest, I've never had a criminal turn himself in. That takes courage, and criminal and courage don't usually mix. You, sir, have surprised us all." She paused, looking up at him in amazed approval. "You're free to go." "What?" Bottle shouted. "After what he did to my—" "Hush. Prison is a place where one engages in rumination through consequence and introspection of oneself and what one can do to better oneself. It seems to me that this child has already done that. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Bottle?" Brody had no idea what that meant, but upon seeing Bottle fall silent, all of Brody's fears washed away and a new energy raced into his veins. The world slowly melted away into a brilliant disco. Brody thought he might dance forever. The commissioner cleared her throat and Brody was brought back to the present. "You may go now, Brody," she said. Brody left the room, thinking not all the water in the world could flood this feeling. "Hey, kid, don't think I've forgiven you, but that was big of you." What? You tried to attack me and chased me down the street." "Yeah, you deserved that. I won't forget what you did to my cat Poo-Poo. But for now, we can be at peace. I've had my revenge." Brody watched in confusion as Bottle walked away. He gazed up at his home, hardly able to believe that he wasn't standing before a dark and dirty cell. At last he could slouch on his cushiony couch and eat all the pizza he wanted. He walked in and stared as rows of glasses of water lined up before him. "I'm dead." The end.